Alexa, sing me the technology song.
Technology, technology. Where would I be without technology? Without the Wi-Fi, I couldn't say hi. As for music, I couldn't choose it. Shopping lists would cease to exist, and time would be on your wrist. I thank my lucky stars that I'm here today. I hope that you'll agree. Give me 1, 2, 3 shouts aloud for technology. Ooh, technology.
Technology is really advancing at a fast pace. Just look at the world around us. Technology is evident in almost everything we do today. From point-of-sale systems that are used when we are shopping, to ICE tasks online for university, and biometric scanners for complex entrances. We are constantly growing in the digital world, and this is why it is important for us to have adequate knowledge of digital citizenship and how to be an informed digital citizen. Digital citizenship and the 9 elements. Digital citizenship revolves around 9 important elements. These are digital access, digital law, digital commerce, digital safety, digital rights and responsibilities, digital literature, digital communication, digital etiquette, and digital health and wellness. Let's look at each of these elements in more detail. Digital access. Digital access means having both the ability and the skill to access technology. The ability to access is often highly dependent on one's income bracket and the area in which we reside. This is where we can see the digital divide as it becomes evident. Technology is expensive, and not all people have access to it because they do not have the funds, and not all those with the funds will be able to acquire it and have the skills to know how to use it. As digital citizens, we should encourage digital participation. This can be done by lending out our resources to a less fortunate friend or helping a stranger on campus to process data adequately. Digital literacy. As mentioned before, there is evidently a digital divide in our societies that contributes to the fact that people are unaware of how to use technology and how technology should be used, and even how to gain access to technology. For South Africans that have grown up in a digital world with classes on computer literacy, we forget about the people that haven't had this privilege. Something as simple as teaching someone how to switch on a computer or advising them how to use keywords to get the correct search results can be seen as a contribution. It is important for digital citizens to be able to use technology adequately to research and process data that's been found into information in order to expand our knowledge. Digital communication. Socializing in the older days was mainly done face-to-face, and communication with people that were far away was done by posting letters that would take a while to get and send back, and calls via a dial-up telephone. Nowadays, getting in touch with people near or far can be done in a split second with the use of internet access, email, and social media platforms such as Skype, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Communicating on platforms can be done personally or to send out a message to a group of people. Even marketing is used online to communicate with hundreds and thousands of people. This has many advantages. It allows us to communicate and receive feedback fast and affordably. But the problem is when people overuse these platforms. Children these days are losing the ability to communicate and interact face to face because friendships are all developed behind a screen. Digital communication is used by a number of RSTs and businesses, which poses a huge problem when looking at our digital divide and emphasizes why digital access is so important, not only to be able to get a message across, but to have the skills to get the message across in an appropriate manner.
How digital communication works? It's very simple. There's this big office building where there's a big table with fancy guys in ties and fashionable ladies wearing huge stilettos. Now, they're talking and planning, and after all the ruckus, they come up with a great idea. Now, the problem is that they have to say it to everyone. Now, one of these smart guys in ties comes up with a great idea. How about making a video and sending it to everyone? That should do it. Now he grabs the phone and calls his good old friend from school, who never wears a tie, and says, "Hey, we need to say this to like 1,000 people. You make videos, right? That works." Now the guy says, "Sure." They meet up, do business, shoot a video, and make a super powerful communication tool together. Using a camera, a computer, and a lot of work from the guys who don't wear a tie. They send it over mail to like 10,000 people in less than a week, and days later, everyone knows what the big guys in ties decided. And that's how it works.
Digital etiquette. Digital etiquette is the way in which technology should be used and what is considered appropriate and respectful. For instance, when we send a message, we should use appropriate punctuation to help the receiver understand the message and determine its meaning more accurately. Digital etiquette is about the appropriate behavior on the internet. Having digital etiquette means not cyberbullying or posting content that is inappropriate. Not only will this be offensive to other users, but it will be recorded on your digital footprint, and having a negative digital footprint may restrict your opportunities for your future in life. You can delete a post, but it will always be on your digital footprint, so think before you post.
Hey, watch where you're going. What did you call me? No, I'm not talking to you until you apologize. In there. That's better. To Tim and Moby. What's the deal with digital etiquette? From George. Digital etiquette, or netiquette, is a set of rules for how to behave online. Right, it's a lot like real-life etiquette, which is basically a code of conduct for having good manners and treating others with common courtesy and respect. It's just as important in our digital lives, including how we act in online games, or how we communicate in emails and instant messages, in chat rooms, and on message boards, blogs, and social networking sites. Whoa, how are you doing that? Unfortunately, some people can lose control the second they jump online. Well, like when they disagree with someone or have strong feelings about a topic, they end up saying stuff they'd never say in person. They may send rude emails and IMs or try to start arguments on message boards. That's called flaming, and it can lead to full-on flame wars, insulting arguments between two or more users. Believe it or not, some people actually cruise around the internet looking to start flame wars. We call these troublemakers trolls. Kind of fitting, huh? Well, I don't think they necessarily become meaner people. Maybe they just forget the rules. On the internet, it's pretty easy to stay anonymous or unidentified. Having a secret identity to hide behind can make people pretty brave. And when all they see of you is a screen name or a funny icon, they might forget they're dealing with a real human being. Hey, would you stop being such a bully? Well, it's simple. Just like in real life, you should treat other people the way you want to be treated. You wouldn't want somebody to be rude to you, so don't be rude to anyone else. Of course, netiquette isn't just about being nice. It's also about communicating clearly. That means keeping emails and IMs clear and to the point. It also means making your messages easy to read and understand, which can depend on your audience. For instance, some abbreviations and emoticons may be fine with friends, but they're generally not appropriate in formal communication. And whatever you do, don't write in all capital letters. Yeah, on the internet, writing in all caps makes you seem like you're yelling. Also, keep in mind that humor isn't always obvious in writing. Without seeing facial expressions or hearing someone's voice, it can be hard to tell the difference between a friendly joke and real cruelty. One way to help make sure you're communicating clearly is to reread what you write before you send it. Check your tone, grammar, and spelling to make sure you really mean to say what you've written. Once your message is out, it's out. Lastly, make sure you ask permission before posting anything about your friends on a blog or social networking site. People's personal information is private, and you can really ruin relationships if you post something that a friend or a friend's parents don't want on the web. And keep in mind that the internet is not a private place. If you wouldn't want a parent, teacher, college admissions director, or future employer to see something you post, don't post it. Permission not granted. Hey, you do realize that millions of people are watching us, right?
Digital rights and responsibilities. Digital rights and responsibilities are in place for the same purpose as the Bill of Rights, for our protection. Yes, we have a right to free speech, but we also have a responsibility to have our say responsibly and not post things that other users may find offensive, such as hate speech. Another example that can be used is when we are doing an assignment for varsity. Yes, we are doing our own research, but we must be responsible and not copy information directly. In these cases, we can paraphrase the information obtained and insert a reference list and citations. This is one of our responsibilities. If we do not insert the references, that means that we are plagiarizing and can definitely receive a disciplinary hearing as a consequence of our actions. If we, as digital citizens, don't respect other people's rights, or we do not live up to our responsibilities, it is very possible that we will have to face the consequences. That's why we have digital law. There's a huge difference between ethical behavior and law, but being ethical can in many ways help us as digital citizens to abide by the law. In many situations, we can often be caught off guard. An example of this is a friend of mine in high school was on a scholarship. Her parents did not have money to give her for all the luxuries in life. To fit in, she would always go on about how she had seen the latest movies and had all the latest music. Movies are expensive to go and see, and music was still on CDs that didn't come cheap. One day on her laptop, I typed in a search on Google and found an illegal site that came up. I asked her about it, and of course she explained that she did not have the money to keep up with the trends, but she also had no idea that downloading content free on these sites was actually illegal. Another example of committing a crime digitally is identity theft, where someone pretends to be someone they are not. This occurs because people are unaware of how much information they actually put out there on the internet. That can lead to such dilemmas, and thus we must be aware of how to secure ourselves digitally. Digital security. As we spoke about before, people can commit fraud by stealing our identities, and that's why digital security is important. We need to protect ourselves, our hardware, and our information. We need to acknowledge that there are bad people out there, and for our personal security, we should do things such as turning off our location settings and turning on our privacy settings so that not every internet user has access to our information. A few years ago, I was that oblivious person that was unaware of malware. I downloaded something and boom, my laptop had a virus. My dad asked why I didn't have virus detection software and why I had never done a backup, and I had no idea of what he meant. In turn, I lost everything because my laptop had been fully wiped. I now know that I need to do frequent backups and use free antivirus software that's available, especially now that all my university work is stored and that so much time is spent on. Digital health and wellness. I recently mentioned how much time I spend on my university work, and that requires a lot of digital work, from ask tasks to assignments to research and study notes. Due to me spending so much time on my laptop doing these things, I need to ensure that my health and wellness is also protected, both physically and mentally. When working with technology, time passes at a speed and we forget to take a break, which isn't the best for our health. We as digital citizens need to ensure that our time spent working digitally does not affect our well-being. One way in which we can achieve this is by working ergonomically to prevent repetitive strain injuries. Working ergonomically involves things such as having our workstation on the right level so that it doesn't affect our posture. This can be done by setting up our laptops at eye level to avoid injury to things such as our necks, and setting alarms on our phones for taking breaks so that we do not get square eyes. Another thing that we must be careful of is things like internet addiction. We as digital citizens need to plan how we use our time. We shouldn't be sitting on the internet the entire day, but dividing our time up between physical activity and technical activity appropriately to avoid becoming digital addicts that spend all our time online, whether it be for work purposes, obsessive purposes. E-commerce. E-commerce refers to the electronic buying and selling of goods. Some may argue that diamonds are a girl's best friend, but I could definitely argue that point. I definitely think shopping is my best friend. Old-fashioned shopping. Shopping used to be done in malls and most people even made an outing over it. But now online shopping has become faster, more affordable, and much easier, especially for families with time constraints where both parents work. Online shopping has become increasingly popular, and you can get just about anything delivered to you whenever you want. There are so many applications available: Superbalist, Woolies Online, Mr. Delivery, Builders Warehouse Online, and so much more. One of my personal favorites, of course, is Runway Sale. These applications use your email when you sign up, and almost every single day there will be specials emailed to you, and it creates a huge temptation because who doesn't want to save some money? So although online shopping is extremely useful, it can also lead to us spending money that we don't have. We as digital citizens need to learn how to limit ourselves and participate in online shopping responsibly.
What is e-commerce? E-commerce is quite simply the purchases of goods and or services via the internet. To date, over 40% of all internet users have made an online purchase, spending almost $1.5 trillion a year. E-commerce is split into 4 categories. Business to consumer, B2C, is what most people think of when they hear e-commerce. Remember when you bought that new t-shirt or that book from Amazon? That was you participating in B2C e-commerce. Consumer to consumer, C2C, is when goods are sold between consumers through internet marketplaces or online classified ads. eBay and Gumtree are prime examples. Consumer to business, C2B, involves you as a consumer providing a product or service to an organisation. For example, a blogger may review a certain product for a business and be paid in goods or direct payment. Business to business, B2B, where business is conducted between 2 companies. A good example of this market is us. P-Soup Digital offers a range of services and sells these services to other businesses. Marketing made clear. P-Soup Digital.
In conclusion, with the rate that technology is advancing, we must constantly be up to date and informed on how to be using technology effectively, efficiently, responsibly, and safely. Because yes, technology can really be used to enrich our lives, but we also need to acknowledge how to use it so that the negatives do not eventually outweigh all the positives it has. So as a digital citizen, I will encourage participation, I will stay informed, and I will make use of technology to the best of my knowledge. Because after all, unlike Madonna said, I'm a material girl living in a material world. I think I'm pretty much a digital girl living in a digital world.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, stock, format it. Technologic, 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 technologic. Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, stock, format it, buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it.